Germany's going to get you. Okay, so Jose, who do you say is next?
Cornelia should be able to talk now because she's also here online.
Okay, Cornelia, want to unmute yourself? There you go.
Happy to. I should be on.
Okay, go ahead.
Good. Give me a second to share the screen, okay?
Only 1 second.
Yeah, I know, I'm rushing.
There you go. She did it. 1 second.
Really trying. Yeah, that was 1 second, yeah. So everyone, very glad to be here. Good to see all the activities around the world, and trying to make the 2 minutes. What have we been doing? A lot. It was a good and very busy year. We're doing more and more work in the European system for various agencies, from EMCDDA, who do drug monitoring, to EOSHA, who do work on organizational safety and health. So lots of stuff also related to Millennium Project topics like the future work technology. But I just shared 2 highlights and then show a bit of other stuff we did around Millennium Project work. So one key thing we did since the last MPPC meeting was that we published a little paper internally ourselves on our website. It's in German, I'm sorry, but the Google Translate works well, so maybe that's helpful for you too. And it was interesting for us. Christian realized this because we used an online meeting like this one, but not for sharing presentations or discussing, but for really working together online in what is called the silent meeting approach, which we use quite a lot also with our customers. And we wanted to use that to showcase a bit the thinking of the node members and make them visible also to the outside. And also use work that's published by the MP as a starting point and bring attention back to that. So we used the Work Tech 2050 scenarios and asked the question, what has changed due to COVID and the crisis we have faced around the world? And related that back to the scenarios. And there are little contributions from individual node members. Many of them turned up, many of them contributed. And we felt that might be a good way to sort of get little papers together without the overall work of a whole research project if you want a short publication on a specific topic. And we want to maybe do that kind of thing again next year. And the second thing I'll try to speak a bit more about is a project we did in cooperation with a Polish node from 4CF, many thanks. And it's a quite complex project. I'll try to explain simply because it might be interesting for many of you. It's around the targets that the Laudes Foundation, a big foundation in the sustainability sphere, has set itself. And they have a very ambitious, interesting strategy process where they developed an interactive systems map where you can see how things relate to each other and how they think they can affect change, actually, in terms of the targets they have set for themselves, the kind of change they want to help come about in the next 10, 15 years. And what they have asked us is to create what's called a baseline, which is to say, given the science that we are seeing today, would we end up meeting those targets or not? And how far away are we from them? And there's a whole evaluation system behind it that they also use. It's called rubrics. And we did that. Yeah, I know. I'm trying. We did that for fashion, build, and finance, the sectors for climate and equity. It was a great cooperation again with 4CF. And I think maybe also an interesting approach for those who work closely with strategy and long-term sort of normative scenario work where you set a target and try to make it. Yeah, and just a couple of other things contributed to the Delphi, of course, for on the state of the future with Ernst & Young, the one where the survey was out in September. We're glad to make it to a good contribution, which wasn't easy at that time because there was a lot of business in the sector at the time with lots of surveys out, but it worked. And we featured the MP quite a lot. I'm just showing 3 things here. European Conference on Modeling and Policy Support, where I brought in as much as I could, and it will be in the documentation as well, the State of the Future Index, also featuring ProRes work that we've seen before. And in the context of the big national foresight process here in Germany, which is called Vorausschau by the German Ministry for Education and Research.
4 minutes.
Yeah, we featured Millennium Project content in big, sort of, you could say, participatory futures workshop approaches.
Excellent.
And that's it.
Thank you. Excellent. Hey, just Mara, let me give one quick little interruption. When Cornelia mentioned about the State of the Future Index in the European Union session, one of the things that the United Nations Secretariat was very interested in our work was to use the State of the Future Index as an alternative to gross national product. So that's something we've talked about for years. Now it's in the official conversation as maybe one of the approaches that the Secretariat will advocate to other countries.
Good to know, very good. Hello everyone, try to be